What if everything you thought was certain suddenly vanished? Millions disappear without warning. Planes fall from the sky. Families are torn apart. The world is left scrambling for answers. It's chaos. Or is it something more? In today's video, we're going to be diving in to the first 3 books in the Left Behind series. It's a story that takes the mysterious and often misunderstood book of Revelation into a gripping modern-day narrative. This isn't just fiction. It feels very real. If you ever wondered what the end times might look like, how ordinary people might react, or what it truly means to be left behind, you're in the right place. So stick around and let's chat about the first 3 books in the Left Behind series. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you liked my dramatic introduction. So today I'm very excited to launch my very first video on this channel, my very first full-length video all about some really incredible books that I've been reading. I started these books probably just over a year ago, and I am so hooked with these books. They are really interesting. Currently today, as it stands, which is May 2026, I'm on book number 9. I am so excited to share these books with you and to hear, hopefully in the comments, what you think of these books and if you are reading them or if you've ever read them before. So I've taken a description off of, I think it's off of Wikipedia, I'm not too sure about what these books are about, so I'm basically quoting what they've said here. The best-selling novel tells the story of the end of the world based on a particular Christian interpretation of the Bible, especially the book of Revelation. In the story, true Christian believers suddenly disappear in an event called the Rapture. After that, the world goes through 7 years of chaos and suffering called the Great Tribulation. During this time, a powerful evil leader, known as the Antichrist, takes control and creates a global government that persecutes people who become Christians. These believers have to hide and survive during this dangerous time. At the end of the 7 years, Jesus returns, the second coming, defeats evil, and begins a 1,000-year era of peace on earth. Obviously, that's just a description, but as we go through each book, I don't really want to give spoilers, but what I will do is I will divide this video up into 3 sections. So we'll have book 1, book 2, and book 3. So if you haven't read, like say you've read book 1 and 2, but you haven't read 3, then you wouldn't go on to the last section of this video. If you have read all 3, then you could go through all 3. If you've just read 1 and you still have to read 2 and 3, then I wouldn't suggest you go past book 1. It's just I don't want to give away spoilers, and I don't want to get someone not to read if something sad has happened. What I'd like to do on this channel and sort of keep it this way is I'm going to give you the name of the book, the authors, how many chapters, how many pages each book has, etc., etc. So, and then I'm going to give you some main characters. That's why I'm also saying if you haven't read the other books, rather skip ahead, rather don't watch the next section. So this section here is book 1, which is called Left Behind. This book was the first book, and I'm not going to read the back of the book for you. There's the back of the book. And I promise you, it is just, oh, wow. So the authors are Tim LaHaye, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and Jerry B. Jenkins. Christian apocalyptic fiction and thriller. And that is quite true. There are some parts that are a little bit scary. This very first book is all about the rapture. So people start disappearing, etc. And that's kind of where the intro came in. We're introduced to many characters. And this book is probably about a 2-week span from start to finish. But I'm not too sure on the timelines of all the books, but I know that they said that this one is about 2 weeks. There is, in this book, it jumps around a little bit, but I will put an insert in to show you what I'm talking about. Introduces you to most of the lead characters. So you are introduced to Rayford Steele, Chloe Steele, Cameron Buck Williams. Now, majority of the book they call him Buck. Bruce Barnes, Joshua Todd Cothran, Jonathan Stonegal, Ken Ritz, James Rosenwick, Steve Plank, Hattie Durham, and Nikolai Carpathia. Stanton Bailey. So these are all the characters that you'll read about in this book. I'm not going to give you too much explanation on each character because I don't want you to spoil it if you haven't read the other books. What I like most about this book is very easy to read. I'm not much of a reader. I've never been much of a reader. And this is why I also wanted to start this channel, to hold myself accountable, to actually finish reading books. But I'm not much of a reader. I enjoy movies. So like if there's a book and then there's a movie, I'll watch the movie. I have not watched the Left Behind movie, just so that you know. I've only read the books and I'm really enjoying this book. I really enjoyed this book when I read it. It's easy to read and it's helped me a lot with understanding the book of Revelations. Obviously there are parts that come from other parts of the Bible, but it's majority about the book of Revelations. And I found that it was a page turner. I didn't want to put the book down. I didn't want to stop reading. I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed this, and I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed meeting the characters. 25 chapters in the book, and it is 472 pages of reading, but it's well worth it. I love how the books were written. The authors have given these novels a lot of thought, and both seem knowledgeable about the book of Revelations. I find myself checking on the book of Revelations every now and then, reading, checking, seeing what they're having to say about it. So that was quite interesting as well. There is only one downside to this book, and this is not for everyone. It's only for me. I'm saying this as myself. The only downside to this whole book is that there are some gory parts, which it will be. Unfortunately, it is one thing that is going to sort of progress through the books, because you need to remember that in the end times there will obviously be violence, there will be, things like that. So there is going to be gory bits in all the books. So that is one thing that I battled with. I used to try and sort of like skim read until the end of the gory part, but that's the only downside, and that's my sort of issue. It's not an issue with the book at all. The other thing that you will notice is the technology in these books is a little bit behind, because these books were published in, I think, 1995, so let's call it the 90s. So technology wasn't then what it is today, so therefore you will notice some technology is a bit different, and that does also sort of make some of the story a bit outdated. But if you don't care about those sorts of things, it's a really nice book to read. Personally, if I was giving an age rating on this book, I would definitely say 16 and older. As Leah is 12 Leah's my youngest daughter. She is 12 right now. And I think these books are very advanced for a child of that age. So I would definitely say sort of 15, 16, 17, 18 and upwards. And I would... Look, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure a non-believer could read these as just a general book. But I think it's a really interesting book to read as a believer and as someone who's always battled with the book of Revelations to now understand the book of Revelations. Overall rating for book number 1 of the Left Behind series is 4.5 stars. It really was a great book to start the journey. If you haven't moved on to book number 2, I would suggest this is where you end the video. So, book number 2. This book is called Tribulation Force, and it is now continuing on from the first book. It continues straight on. Majority of them continue straight on. I think only 1 or 2 of them, there's been a couple of weeks in between. But they all end with cliffhangers, so you have to keep reading. So let's start with the main characters in this book, because I don't need to give you the name of the authors because they're obviously the same. The book is called Tribulation Force. It's book number 2 in the series, and I found it to be a very interesting book. Again, we're getting to know the main characters much better. We're getting to meet new characters again, and that's why I've said if you haven't finished the first book yet, stop here. If you haven't finished the first book or you haven't finished the second book, I would stop here, because I don't want to spoil anything by saying a name that you suddenly don't recognize and you go, whoa, hang on. So the main characters in Tribulation Force is Rayford Steele, Chloe Steele Williams, Buck Williams, Bruce Barnes, Amanda White, Tyson Ben Judah. Sorry, his name is Zion. I think it's Zion. Zion Ben Judah, Chaim Rosenweg, Steve Plank, Hattie Durham, and Global Community Supreme Potentate Nicola Carpathia. So that's kind of where we end on the second book. Again, I'm not going to go into too much because I don't want to give any spoilers. That's why I'm just giving the character names, because I really don't want to spoil it for you, because now you know that Nikolai is the potentate. You know, if you haven't read the end of book 1, this completely spoils it for you. So this book is a bit different. As you can see, it's a bit different. Different series. They belong to different, like each series was probably made differently. This one has a wheel on the side there. I'll do an insert. It's got a wheel on the side. Whereas this one doesn't have anything like that at all. This one has 450 pages. It has the last chapter in this book is chapter 19. So it's got less chapters than the first book, but it's got pretty much the same amount of pages. Lots of things are going on. Lots of things are happening. More people are getting saved. More people are dying. Buck and Chloe get married. Rayford is, he's now an airline. He now is a pilot for Nikolai, and things are just progressing. And it's getting sort of more and more difficult to be a Christian. There's war, famine, plagues, natural disasters. There's so many things going on. Odds are even worse for the enemies of the Antichrist and his new world order. So he is making it incredibly difficult. Rayford Steele, Buck Williams, Bruce Barnes, and Chloe Steele band together to form the Tribulation Force. So if you would be interested in book number 2, that's great. So that's book number. If you haven't read book number 3, or you haven't finished book number 2 yet, and you're going to start book number 3, I would suggest you end the video here. I do not have book number 3 with me. Unfortunately, I've been loaned these books, so they're not my books, they've been loaned to me, and I did not get book number 3 to do the video with. So what I will do is I will put up on the screen, I will put up a picture of what the third book looks like. The third book's name is Nikolai, and this is now where we get to see Nikolai sort of coming into his, we're getting to see a bad side of him. We're getting to see him grow into this role. They haven't said he's the Antichrist, but you kind of get that. You know, it's sort of speculation, but you can see that he's now becoming the Antichrist. He has now, if you look on the internet, he has now become the #1 character in this book, obviously, because the book's named after him. So it's Nikolai Carpathia, Rayford Steele, Cameron Buck Williams, Chloe Steele Williams, Zion Ben Judah, Amanda White Steele, Bruce Barnes, Chaim Rosenweg, and David Hassett. I will also put down at the bottom of the screen the name, how many chapters and how many pages it has. To me, I really enjoyed this book. It gives you a little bit of background on Nikolai. You sort of get to see where he's come from, to learn about him. You learn about a lot of people. Nikolai was very good. It was a good book. I'm going to give it a 4.4 stars this time. Just because unfortunately I don't have the book here to show you and to, tell you all about, show you the cover and all that kind of stuff. So I'll give it 4.4 stars for that one. Also, sometimes I found Nikolai a little bit boring. Like, not in a nasty way. It just seemed a bit monotonous and boring. And I'm not really interested in Nikolai, if I can say that way. I'm more interested in the other characters in the book. It's just, they're really good books. I cannot recommend them highly enough. I think that they are such a good series to get involved in. So I thought I'd do the first 3 books, 1, 2, and 3, Left Behind, Tribulation Force, and Nikolai. I hope you've enjoyed my review about them. And I really and truly hope that you'll come back for the next video, which will be book 4, 5, and 6. I have put timestamps at the bottom of the video, so if you've only read book 1 or book 2 and you haven't read all 3, it's not going to spoil book 3 for you. So also just listing the characters sometimes can cause you to see that something's going on. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment down below if you have read these books, if you are reading these books, if you've only just started, or where you are in the series. Like I say, I'm on book number 9, so I really, really am enjoying them. I'm looking forward to making the next video, which is book 4, 5, and 6, and we can discuss those. Anyway, thank you again so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one for the next 3 books. Bye!